Welcome to the launch of our first episode of the Emporia Public Schools podcast. I am your host, Dr. Allison Anderson Harder, Superintendent. This podcast is being developed as a way to provide students, staff, parents, and community members to easily access information on a variety of topics. Below the podcast link, there is a link to an electronic form for anyone to provide feedback or ideas about the podcast you may have just listened to or share ideas for future podcasts. Input may be anonymous, but it is helpful if you include your name and contact information so we can gain a better understanding of what questions you would like answered or topics you would like discussed. Having additional details help us understand the context from which you are asking so we can provide necessary background information as well. As we dive into our first episode, I will introduce our first brave guests. Today I'm joined by Lindell Langren, Director of Community Relations, and Paul Beatles, Director of Information Technology. Our topic of conversation for our first episode is, why are we updating our school district's website? Before we begin, please tell us a little bit about yourselves and your professional background. We will begin with Lindell Langren, Director of Community Relations.
Good morning, and thank you for having me this morning on the first ever podcast for Emporia Public Schools. I'm excited to be here and excited to test everything out and give some information to our students, staff, and the community. Like I said, my name is Lindell, and I've been with the district I've just started my 6th year. And so prior to that, I had some extensive years at Emporia State University, and so did some recruiting there, and so a lot of that's carried over with the marketing and everything that we do here for enrollment and for this new website that we're using as well. So excited to be here and excited to tell you a little bit about the website.
Awesome. Next up is Paul Beatles, Director of Information Technology. Paul, would you like to share about yourself and your professional background?
Absolutely. I've been doing technology for the school district since 2002, so that dates me a little bit when you start counting it in decades. Always enjoyed technology, and I've really enjoyed watching technology change over the years in the school district. So the ability to deliver information in a new way to our families that can make it a little more easily accessible is something I was excited to try out.
Awesome. Well, thank you both. I'm excited that you're here and that we're launching this. So first question up, why is the district updating a new website? That's for both of you.
All right, well, I'll start and then let Paul kind of fill in as well. So we have had the same website now for ever since I've been here and several years before that. So the website that we're currently using is a little bit dated, and just the user friendliness and the services that it offers are not quite what we're looking for in today's website abilities. And so we started looking at different opportunities for that. And like I said, because of the age of our websites don't usually last very long, to keep them fresh and that sort of thing. So we are going to update that and make sure that we have a lot of new features and that sort of thing as well. Paul, you want to?
Absolutely. So back in the early 2000s, when we built this website, we, used stone tools and carved it, and it was very difficult to keep it updated. So, and a lot's changed. We really want a platform that could do multi-languages consistently for all of our different families and meet those needs. We wanted something that was a little more mobile friendly. A lot of people are viewing information on a smaller screen and not a traditional computer. So this website's going to bring some of those pieces together for us.
It's really hard chipping on those the screens.
You get tired, and if you make a mistake, you just throw the whole website out.
It's more cost effective this way. Lindell, so what was the process of selecting a new platform? This has been quite a process.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually started this process, technically we started it probably a couple of years ago, looking at some different options. And just with COVID and different things, it was one of those things that kind of got pushed back throughout the years. And so, this past summer, we really said, hey, we want to get this going. We want to get a new website. And so we partnered with a marketing company, CEL. And with their help, we did a characteristic survey of what our users want in a website. Do they want it to be mobile friendly? What types of things are they wanting to see on the website? What does the current website not have? And just those kinds of things. And so we did a characteristic survey. Likes, dislikes. What was important for them to be able to see and to do with the website? What are some things we need? What are things we don't need on the website? just a lot of that kind of information. We had them provide some examples of websites that they like or websites that were user friendly, and so we gathered a lot of feedback from that survey, and so that was really helpful as we worked through this process. And so once we had that started, and we actually started that back in July and worked through that, and then we developed a steering committee. And so we had some community members, we had administrators, we had teachers, we had a wide group of our employees and, like I said, community members who were able to put together a steering committee to be able to see exactly what that group wanted as well.
And important also, just thinking, members were also parents of students, so that was another perspective we wanted to get.
Yeah, absolutely. It was our users, who's using the website. It was parents, we have students, we have, just a lot of different constituents that use our website. So getting feedback and input from those was important in developing that. So that's what we did in July, getting all of that information, putting that together. We did some focus groups with teachers and that sort of thing too, just to see what was going to be the best opportunities and the best platform and that sort of website backgrounds and that sort of thing that everybody had. So that was super helpful to be able to use those focus groups and steering committee to put together all that information. So once we had all of that, then we reached out to different vendors. And so we reached out to a lot of different vendors, and we actually had 4 vendors that responded, and we had demos with those four vendors. And so that was really helpful to see, what this platform offers versus that platform, and the expense and, being conservative with the resources and making the best decisions financially as well with a new website. And so the focus groups helped us do that. And then, like I said, we narrowed it down and had the vendors and did those demos. After that, we kind of looked at the pros and cons of each of those vendors. And then we took a proposal to the board, and we ended up with Final Site. And that's the company that we're using. And Final Site, actually 2 of the vendors that we looked at were Final Site and Blackboard, and they actually merged shortly after our demo. And so we were able to get the benefits of both of those companies in our website.
Thank you, Lindell. What are some of the unique features of the new website? Paul, would you like to take that question first?
Absolutely. I think obviously hitting on that mobile piece, being very mobile friendly and the multiple languages like we mentioned earlier. It also supports some integration to our existing systems. So that's going to allow us from a technology standpoint to provide secure logins for the users who are responsible to keep the content on the site updated. So I'm looking forward to that integration with Google.
Okay.
We're going to pass it on to Lindell.
Hot potato to Lindell.
All right. So some of the features that we're excited about with that, and Paul alluded to the mobile friendly. If you would look at our current website on your phone, it's a challenge, whether it's the photos, the information, that sort of thing. It's just tough. And so one of the focuses of a Final Site and one of their selling points actually was that they were mobile first. And so this new site, when you look at that on your phone, it's going to be clean, clear, crisp. You'll be able to find the information. And so that's probably the feature that I'm most excited about, is just that accessibility on those smaller devices. And the other things that we're looking at, or the features that this will have that our current website does not have, is the new website is going to be ADA compliant. So any users shouldn't have any difficulties with it, whether it's finding information or being able to read the information that's on there, because it is ADA compliant, and so we're excited about that option as well. Searchability is another feature that this new website will offer. So we have taken all of the content, so like our handbooks, catalog, all of those different things that historically were in PDFs on the old website. PDFs are not searchable. So if you're searching for certain information or certain things, you can't put it in there, and it won't find it. And so the new website will be searchable in almost every form, every page in there. We'll be able to search that. And so that's going to be a nice opportunity as well. And we've spent a lot of time getting that accurate and correct, so for the users, hopefully they'll notice that when they use the website as well. And one of the other things that we have on this particular website too is it's translatable. With the old website, or the one that we're using currently, everything had to be done twice. And so if we wanted anything in Spanish on the website, it had to be done. Basically, we were running 2 websites with that, one in English and one in Spanish. And that was just very time consuming. It wasn't user friendly, because if there was a quick change on something, you had to make sure you got it done in Spanish as well, and that the timeliness was not always there for that feature as well. So with the new website, it will actually be translatable in 5 different languages, and so and because of the way that we did the searching piece, all of those pieces will be translatable as well. So we don't have to take the time to translate the handbook in Spanish or Vietnamese or Chinese or any of the different languages that were currently available. It's all done in-house through the website. So those features are extremely important, I think, and will really make the experience for the user much better than what we've had in the past.
Great. And speaking of pictures, earlier, we also updated pictures. So we have current pictures of students and staff.
Yes, absolutely. I hate to admit this, but if you would go back and look at the website right now, I'm concerned that many of our elementary kids that were on the website, some of those have graduated. And so this past November, Dave Liker, who was a longtime employee of the district, and I went around to every building, every department, activities, classroom experiences, PE, music, tech, art, all of the different features and all the different classes that we have and all the different buildings that we have, to the Learning Center, to Jones, and just shot photos. We spent about a day and a half in the district, and Dave got some really great photos. And so all of the photos on the website are fresh, they're new, and we're going to continue to do that as well. That's one of the things that, when I took this role in community relations, the pictures were dated, and we didn't get those changed out, like what I think we can do now, just because of the accessibility and the ease of doing so on the website with this platform that we're using, Final Site. So, like I said, you'll see new pictures, you'll see fresh pictures that hopefully you haven't seen before and that sort of thing. We've used a few of them in maybe some publications or some things, but it's, we took thousands of pictures during that time frame with Dave Liker in the district, and so we have a lot of new pictures and fresh pictures that'll be covered throughout the website.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. Well, and along with anything, we always want to make sure the security is our priority. And so, Paul, talk a little bit about our website security and also just steps that we take to make sure that our information technology is secure at all times.
Absolutely. One of the nice things that I liked about Final Site was looking at, they use Google Cloud as their platform to run their software on. That's a platform we also use at the district for a lot of our other information is within that G Suite environment. The content delivery is encrypted. It's encrypted between REST and a lot of security precautions. They have that full-time team that's monitoring for suspicious activity across the web servers, which is nice. And always when we think about security, you also then have to turn around and think about reliability. We need the website to be available regardless of what's happening maybe here in Emporia, Kansas. So again, by looking at Final Site there, what's called software as a service. So the website will run, they will manage it. It's got multiple data centers that it runs across. So if you thought about if an event like a tornado happened in Emporia, the website would still be available in a way that we can communicate, because we know that phones tend to stop working when a lot of people are all making calls at the same time. You can overload those cell towers. So it's a way to keep information available to our families. Even if something was to happen here, years ago we had a power outage that affected just Mary Herbert, but it included our data center. So the ability to get information out became extremely difficult without those systems we rely on. I don't know if you know this, but websites don't have consistent visitors. It's not like one person every 10 minutes. It's 1,200 high school students hitting it at one time on the first day of school, and then sometimes nobody at all. So again, by using their scalability, we can have major events, lots of visitors, like at the start of school year when a lot of people are wanting information about enrollment or other pieces, and Final Site can scale that up as those users are hitting our system so it stays smooth, and then scale it back down. That's something we just couldn't do when we ran it ourselves, was the scalability piece. So this allows us to really leverage a nice cost operation when we think about the cost of the website, the security and reliability, in all those areas.
I think you bring a good point as far as situations that we can't necessarily predict. And so we want people to come to our school district website for information and asking questions. And so as we can share information of things that maybe happened that were unexpected and then how we're handling it. So we have great partnerships with our local media. We want people to come to us first for those questions so we can answer them directly. And then we continue to work with our media partners as well. So any other thoughts as we wrap up this first episode of our our initial podcast. Any other thoughts about website or where we're going?
Yeah, I'll just kind of touch a little bit. I mentioned earlier that we got board approval on this project back in October, and then in December we were working with Final Site, and Final Site was building the structure and the pages and that sort of thing for us, so that we had all of that put together. And then we have been working steadily since the beginning of January. We have the marketing partner from CEL that we've been working with, and then Miriam in our enrollment office, and then Jessica in the community relations office, and myself working through all of the different pages. One of the things that we noticed from the current website is there used to be a class at the high school, and that class built web pages, and lots of web pages, and then those kids would graduate, and then those pages were still there. And so just combing through all of that information, it's been time consuming, but it's been good because I feel like we have a fresh new look, a fresh new the information and that sort of thing is the information that we need. There's not outdated and old content and that sort of thing. And if there is, when you look at it, you'll have the opportunity when we launch on March 31st, there'll be a form that you can share with us any feedback. And so that feedback will be critical for us. This is a new experience, for all of us here at the district. Like I said, the current website's been here for a long time. So that feedback will be crucial. So there'll be an opportunity for you to share information, likes, dislikes, if there's information that you can't find, information that's missing, or if there's an error. Like I said, we have combed through hundreds of web pages and just thousands of words of text and that sort of thing. So any feedback, we're open to that and would love to have any feedback that you can provide that will help us make it a better end user experience for everyone that uses the website. So like I said, we'll launch on March 31st. So if you have time over that weekend, we'll definitely want you to look at the website for us and give us any feedback that you might have.
Awesome. And we are always looking, seeking and valuing that input, whatever it is. So we appreciate that outside perspective and what we can do better. Paul, last thoughts or anything that you would like to share?
We still have a few larger framework pieces to get done, but the nice thing about the partnership with CEL and Final Site is they've been keeping us appraised of what pieces that need to be done from our department so that we can do a smooth transition from our locally hosted website up to the Final Site hosted one on their environment.
Well, thank you, Paul and Lindell. This is a great first episode of our podcast. To our listeners, thank you for listening. We take input and ask questions about different topics you would be interested in. For now, we are signing off. Thank you for listening.